Hello, good evening. My goodness, I've had a busy day today, laying on the bed. Had a bit of a sore knee, but I thought I'd rest my leg after my walk last night. But in doing so, I found myself observing many videos that were on YouTube here in the Philippines, done by Americans. Yet, sorry guys, you are important enough for me to watch them. Do you know, from the eyes of a British expat that clearly has a different way of looking at life to that of many Americans that present these images of the Philippines in their YouTube channels. I just wonder why they're here. You know, they give you advice on so many aspects of the Philippine life that really try and mirror what they've got back home or what they would like to find here. That's probably more the point. What they're looking for is to replicate their life in another country. And I just wonder why that's the particular idea that they want to promote. Because those that have lived here for a while and have got the gist of why we're here as a retiree, beyond the ladies, beyond the cost of living, beyond allowing our pensions or our savings to stretch that little bit further than they would back home. You just wonder why all these things are so important to so many Americans. I can understand the concept that you locate yourself near or within reach of a good hospital. Don't have to be American or otherwise, but for many who come here that are American, they clearly are not in good shape. In other words, they've either got psychological problems that they need addressing, they've got physical issues, overweight, diabetes, back injuries, high blood pressure, you name it, that I don't always find involved in those Australians I've met here or English people. And that's a bit of a worry in itself, because why does a sane person think of coming to what is clearly described as a third world country when they know that they're not in 100% good shape? I mean, apart from Jim, our friend Jim Boy, seems to be doing all right in Cambodia anyway. But all jokes aside, not to say that Jim is a joke, certainly not to himself, but for those that watch him and his adventures in Cambodia, I'm sure many of you wonder what's going to happen next. And that's the question I have to ask myself with especially Americans who talk about being close to fellow expats, being able to purchase food that they're familiar with, expecting certain facilities such as gyms, aircon, Western style accommodation. All of these things are dreams for many people here in the Philippines, and they're Filipino. Sure, there's wealthy ones, there's plenty of really wealthy ones that live just like anybody would do on a good salary anywhere in the world. They drive the latest model cars, they wine and dine at the best restaurants. Again, we're not talking about those people. We're not even talking about those that necessarily live in ivory towers either. The point is that if you want to lifestyle that's condo lifestyle, why would you come to the Philippines? Why would you not go to a place more civilized, maybe more connected to the Western world in the sense that a lot more wealth? China, Thailand, Singapore, those are places where lifestyles could be replicated very easily. But the Philippines is a place to retire. It's a place to unwind. It's a place to assimilate into a community. The one thing I pride myself in my 10 years in Nigilian was that I became part of Nigilian lifestyle. I became part of the everyday look of the Philippines. When I walked up the road, everybody recognized me, to the point where they didn't recognize me anymore, simply because they didn't care. I was just one of the crowd. Sure, I wasn't a Filipino, but nevertheless, I did the normal things where people would expect to see their own Filipino friends doing. Going to the same supermarkets, going to the same market, wandering down the same streets, going to Baguio, going into San Fernando. And these are just normal, everyday things, using jeepneys, using buses, and of course tricycles. Many would have seen me riding around on my bicycle. Maybe they just thought, oh, another mad foreigner. But the point that I'm making is that to be part of the Philippines, you just have to blend in, not stand out in the sense, of course we are going to physically stand out, but just going to a hardware store, buying stuff that you need, not making a big fuss about it, not complaining, being patient, waiting in line, stand in line as they say, being prepared that when you go to a bank, yes, because you're a foreigner, you will be maybe directed to the front of the queue. I tend to be more humble and just say, no, that's okay, I'll just have a normal number, please. But they're quite happy to give you a disabled or senior ticket, so you go to the front of the queue. Why should I? I'm just like anybody else. I'm waiting to get my banking problem sorted. And I say problem. It's not a problem. It just takes longer. It seems more complicated. It's not me understanding why. It's just accepting that that's how it is. If I want my foreign cheese, I have to learn where I can buy it. Be prepared that when I do go and buy it, that it might not be there like it was last time when I said, oh, I'll buy that next time, maybe next week. You have to remember that sometimes buying things that come as a reminder of home can cost a lot more. Local butter is one of those things that I love to buy, Anchor butter or another maybe Canadian or American butter, just because I know it's closer to what I know as butter.